Dritz is a Kansas State veterinarian and swine specialist. He joins us now. Steve, just to start off with, this virus, how widespread is it? What's the danger?
Hello, Jeff. Thanks for having me here today. This virus is called Porcine Epidemic Diarrhea Virus, and it's been recently diagnosed. It was just announced last week, and currently the latest information I have that it's been diagnosed in 4 different states across the U.S., Colorado, Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa. So it's recently, it's just been recently characterized. Now, this is a disease that is widely endemic in Asia, very common in Asia, and is also present in many parts of Europe as well.
What's the issue they have with it over there? Have they been able to control it at all?
The disease is fairly devastating if the herd doesn't have a lot of immunity, and if you don't have good sanitation and biosecurity practices. It's a virus that spreads relatively rapidly and easily if you get infected fecal material, on such as trucks or boots or people and on hands and tools and equipment.
It's important to note that this is not a threat to human consumption. It's merely a production issue for farmers. You actually work with a grad student who has had firsthand knowledge or firsthand working knowledge of this disease. Give me the story behind that.
Jeff, yes, I work with a veterinarian that her family's farm in Thailand about 10 years ago, when it was first infected, the disease was introduced into the farm, and it was devastating to the baby piglets. They lost just about 100% of the piglets for about 2 weeks in the young baby piglets, and then the sows had diarrhea and the growing pigs, and so that's a characteristic of this virus, that it's a disease presentation that's very similar to a disease that was common in the U.S. about 25-30 years ago called TGE, or transmissible gastroenteritis virus, and in farms that didn't have any immunity, there would be this wave of mortality, and then the farm would build immunity, and then the virus would get itself established, and then it become a more chronic form. And so that's one of the major concerns with this disease right now is our sow herds in the U.S. don't have any immunity to this virus, and so the initial reports are it's been relatively devastating in the farms that have been infected.
There are those similarities to TGE, but the vaccinations are not the same. So what is your recommendation to a producer?
The best recommendations, yes, that's a good point, is that the vaccines don't cross-protect, and also it's one of the challenges of our diagnostic labs in diagnosing the disease is the diagnostic tests for TGE do not work well for PEDV either, and so our labs are just gearing up to do that. So our best advice to producers is good, practical biosecurity procedures, limiting entrance into your farm and making sure if there's people that enter into the farm that you provide the clothing and the materials that are clean so they're not transferring any fecal material. And then another critical control point is delivering animals to market. Slaughter plants are going to have, pigs coming from multiple locations. So if any one of those farms have been infected and the finishing pigs happen to be shedding, they could infect multiple locations, then disseminating back out into that slaughter plant. So making sure and cleaning trucks after delivery to the slaughter plant is going to be critical.
If you are doing a lot of transporting, whether it be selling, on an iso-wean basis or a slaughter pig, would you consider essentially all areas hot?
That's correct, Jeff. If you look at these states where the index cases have been are some of the major swine producing states, so I would consider, and with our diagnostics at this point we're just gearing it up, so we don't know how many undiagnosed herds there are out there, and the potential threat from those herds are. So I would consider that any slaughter plant could be a potential source of infection, or any transfer of pigs or transfer of materials from like outside of other production systems or outside of other farms are especially at high risk right now.
Steve, thanks for the information and the time. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Jeff.